In a small, dimly lit studio, Ethan sat in silence, his eyes fixed on a single piece of paper, an invitation, an opportunity of a lifetime, the city's biggest art competition. But in his hands it felt heavier than just paper. It carried the weight of his fears. His fingers trembled slightly as he traced the bold letters on the page. His heart pounded. Excitement and fear wrestled within him. He had dreamed of this moment, yet something held him back. Through the window, the city lights flickered, mirroring the uncertainty in his eyes. His past failures whispered doubts into his mind, but deep down, a voice urged him forward. He took a deep breath. This was it, a chance to prove himself, a chance to face what he had been running from. As his grip on the invitation tightened, a single thought echoed in his mind. Would he finally cross the bridge of fear? Ethan found himself standing at the edge of the forest, his destination looming ahead, the old hanging bridge. Shrouded in thick fog, the bridge stretched across a deep chasm, its ropes creaking in the wind. It had been years since he last stood here, years since that night. A memory flashed in his mind, his younger self, watching someone step onto the bridge and never return. The fear from that night still haunted him. Now the same fear clawed at his chest. His mother's voice echoed in his mind. Fear is only a bridge, Ethan. You must cross it to reach your dreams. He inhaled sharply. If he wanted to reach the other side, to chase his dreams, he had to step forward. With trembling hands, he placed his foot onto the first wooden plank. The bridge groaned under his weight. A shadow moved in the mist. Ethan's breath hitched. His pulse quickened. Was he alone, or was someone watching? His eyes darted across the fog-covered bridge. A figure stood in the distance, faint, unmoving. He swallowed hard. He could turn back now, but something inside him whispered, "Keep going." As he stepped forward, the wood beneath his feet creaked louder. The ropes swayed. His grip tightened. The figure didn't move. Step by step, he walked closer, closer to the unknown, closer to his fears. The bridge shook violently. Ethan gasped, gripping the rope tighter. The wind howled around him. Panic surged through his veins. The figure in the mist remained still, watching, waiting. Another flashback, his mother's voice. Fear is only as strong as you let it be. Tears burned in his eyes. He was stronger now. He had to be. Summoning every ounce of courage, he took another step, then another, and another, until the ground beneath him felt solid. He had made it. Ethan looked up. The figure in the mist had stepped forward, an old man with wise, knowing eyes. He gave Ethan a small nod, then vanished into the fog. Ethan understood. This journey, this fear, had always been his to overcome. As the mist cleared, a new path lay ahead, bright, open, full of endless possibilities. With a deep breath, he walked forward, toward his dreams, and behind him, the bridge of fear was just a memory. Ethan stood at the edge of the other side, looking back at the old hanging bridge one last time. It no longer felt like a place of fear. It was a symbol of his journey, a reminder of what he had conquered. As he turned away, the mist slowly swallowed the bridge, making it feel distant, like a past that no longer held him back. Ahead of him, a bright path awaited, a future filled with possibilities. A new chapter had begun. Days later, Ethan stood in the grand hall of the city's biggest art competition. His paintings, filled with the emotions of his journey, lined the walls. The crowd murmured in admiration. Some clapped, some stood in awe. And then, the moment he had once feared, his name was called. Ethan walked onto the stage, his heart pounding. But this time it wasn't fear. It was pride. As he held the trophy in his hands, a wave of emotion surged through him, not just for winning, but for proving to himself that he could. As the night ended, Ethan stepped outside. The sky was painted in shades of orange and gold. He took a deep breath. The air felt different, lighter, because this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. And as he walked into the sunset, one thought filled his heart. He was finally free. Moral of the story: fear is just a bridge, one that must be crossed to reach success. Ethan's journey teaches us that our greatest opportunities often lie beyond our deepest fears. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the willingness to move forward despite it. When we confront our doubts, embrace challenges, and take that first step, we unlock the path to growth, success, and self-belief. In the end, fear is temporary, but the rewards of overcoming it last forever.